When you think compact PC, you probably think high price, but today we're going to show you can build a tiny PC that doesn't break the bank.
At under $700, $675 to be exact, we built a compact PC that really looks awesome on paper and performs very well inside a new case from Montech, today's video sponsor, their 10 case to celebrate their 10-year anniversary of being in business. I can't believe it's been that long. Shout out to Montech for being in business that long, and hopefully you'll have many more years to come. And we're very excited to build inside this 10 case that has some modularity features that allow you to change into 3 different form factors that can make it either airflow focused, liquid cooling focused, or even shift into ITX. We'll talk more about that later on in this video, but thanks again to Montech for sponsoring. Let's talk about this PC build, because under $700, I think we're getting some good price performance here. We're gonna be targeting some 1440p gaming with upscaling, and we'll show you guys in the benchmarks what that looks like. Let's talk about the parts of this build and why we put it together.
Alright, so to kick things off, we probably sound like a broken record, but Ryzen 5 5500, and the reason we sound like a broken record is it is probably the best bang for buck CPU out there in the lower price point range. Newegg combo, we paid $216, so we got the Ryzen 5 5500 6-core 12-thread, along with a motherboard and RAM. And the best part is Newegg even provided a free cooler along with that combo, which we'll talk about all that in a second, but 5500, awesome CPU that you can use the stock cooler that it comes with, but they sent us a free cooler, so we're gonna do the upgrade, right? And that's why, of course, we gotta use the cooler that Newegg gave us for free, and that is the Gamdias Boreas 120mm cooler. I honestly never heard of this cooler until we built this PC, but I really like how it looks. It's an all-black tower cooler. I feel like it kind of reminds me of like the ID Cooling SC214 XT V2, so I like it a lot, and it was free. Now the motherboard is going to be case by case because typically Newegg does not just have one combo, they have multiple to choose from. So this one, like I said, was $216, and ours came with the ASRock B450M AC Revision 2, which is a pretty cheap board. It's going to get us by, it's not going to hold us back because it's just a 5500, but you can get better boards that have like nicer Gen 4 support and stuff like that, more NVMe slots, more RAM slots, more CPU upgradability if you just spend a little bit more or happen to catch Newegg at the right time. And of course, it's part of the combo, so technically it's in that 216, but if you were to buy a B450 like this on its own, you're gonna be looking at about 69 to 79 bucks. All right, now the RAM, for 16 gigs of DDR4, you'd normally be looking in the range of $100 to like $130 right now new, but $0 with our Newegg combo for that 216 bucks we spent. We got Teamgroup Delta RGB 16 gigs, which is pretty awesome, and it's dual channel 3200 megahertz, so very solid RAM. I'm very excited to see this RAM back again because I feel like for a while you just couldn't find RGB RAM, but weirdly enough, it seems like a lot of manufacturers are switching to mostly making RGB RAM. I don't know if it's just more cost effective that way or what, but I'm not gonna complain about that combo. 216 bucks basically got us almost the complete build. All right, now we're out of the combo territory. We had to spend $106 for our NVMe SSD. Now you could make this a little bit more price to performance to go at the 512 gig, but we kind of have the future proofing in mind with this build. We got a Micron 2200S 1TB Gen 3 from eBay, $106. This would have been about a $40 drive before Ramageddon, but it just is what it is. So it's a solid drive, it's got good speeds and plenty of capacity for all those games. And now if you want to buy a new drive because you're a little bit scared of eBay, it's all good. You're just gonna have to spend about $140-ish for an equivalent Gen 3 1TB.
Now for the GPU, because we've been using that 5500 so much, I want to try a GPU pairing that we haven't done before with the 5500, or at least in a long time. We've built a lot of PCs, we may have in the past, but we went with the RTX 3070, specifically the Asus Turbo model, and I will say, the turbo aspect of it might not be what you think, because there's a blower style card, and one downside we noticed after building this whole PC is it's pretty loud. We did pay $215 for this 3070, which is a very competitive price. This GPU compares very nicely to like a slightly faster RTX 4060, but a previous gen, has the same 8 gigs of VRAM that you're looking for, but it is a really good price performance option for 1080p and 1440p if you want to use DLSS, but this one is loud. So if you want to spend more money, and I highly suggest you do spend a little more money, kind of avoid this turbo line. We kind of learned our lesson here with this. We did adjust some fan curves in MSI Afterburner to make it a little bit better, but it actually does need all that fan power to keep it nice and cool. So again, our mistake here, but it's something you guys can avoid at home if you are copying this build. If you want to go new for the GPU, you can look at something like an ASRock B550. We use that GPU a lot in PC builds that we've done here on the channel. Realistically, Usemark is your best bet if you want to build a PC at this price point. For the power supply, I went with the Rosewill VMG 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply that we paid $70 for. This is a fully modular power supply, and the reason we went that route is because with the Montech 10, we want to have as much room as we can in a compact build with no extra cables that we don't need. Now with this case, you can go with an SFX power supply, but obviously that's going to up the cost and really defeat our whole purpose of making compact builds more affordable, because that's normally the biggest cost when it comes to a compact build is going with a very crazy SFX power supply. So we decided to go with the full-size one. It does make the build a little bit more difficult, but we'll talk more about the case installing here in just a second. It was really cool that we could make it work in a compact build like this, and the price is really solid. Now, as we mentioned, Montech, sponsor of this video, sent over their 10 case to showcase, which, again, celebrating the 10-year anniversary. The cool thing about this case is it can use 3 different forms, or can be 3 different forms. The current form we're in right now is the M1 form, which is designed for higher airflow, meaning you have good ventilation support, you're good for an air cooler here. You can add a fan in this corner like we did, where you can have some extra ventilation. If you go with the mini ITX board in this form, you can easily add more fans on the bottom as well, but we went micro ATX for the best savings. And really in this form, it's what it is out of the box. It looks just like this, but you can transform it into the M2 form, which requires you to take this front panel, but it doesn't stop there. If you're wanting to go ITX, maybe save a little bit of room or have like a dual chamber design, you can go with the i3 variant, which requires you to take this whole thing apart, which you guys can see the demo on screen here I did with the white version of the case. You take this whole thing apart, put it back together, you shift the motherboard tray to the center, which allows you to have a dual chamber setup for the GPUs on one side and the motherboards on the other. And it does give you the ability to have an ITX motherboard. You do need to go SFX on the power supply, but you then will vertically mount your GPU in the back side right here, have a riser cable come across, and now you have a more compact setup to where your GPU could have its own spot in the case. This case is $69, by the way, and it has all the options to be able to customize it the way you want it, which I think is pretty cool and pretty unique in the space, especially at this price point, which makes it a really good option to consider for your next PC build. And I think either of these forms will work out really well for you, but I think for the best price performance, going with the M1 form allows you to go micro ATX, a full-size power supply, and really not overspend on other parts. But if you want to go mini ITX and SFX, you're saving a lot of money on this case because it's very competitively priced. You can do that and still yield some good price to performance. But enough about the Montech 10, really awesome case, very fun to build in. We're gonna dive into some benchmarks at 1440p with this configuration and see how well this performs. You guys will hear that GPU sound a little bit loud, but all in all, see how that 5500 and 3070 work well together at 1440p and see if it's worth it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are in Arc Raiders, which I think is a perfect game to test out this PC. So running 1440p, DLSS set to quality on the CNN model because it's a slightly older GPU. Max FOV, low ray tracing, medium settings, and this right here is usually why we recommend going with the older NVIDIA cards over the older AMD cards. If you got an older AMD card, it'd work fine, but you would probably need to turn ray tracing off or it's not gonna run like this.
Yeah, and you guys may hear a little bit in the background what we talked about at the beginning of this video that you guys watching about the GPU being a little loud. The GPU isn't 100% load though in this scenario because we are a little CPU bottleneck, but that's kind of why we're testing at 1440p is to see how much of that 3070 can we get out of it with that 5500 holding us back just a little bit. But when you're at higher resolution, you're more GPU bound.
I know how to get on his good side. We gotta help him.
Help your buddy out.
We're hitting those. I mean, FPS is looking good though. You know, getting an average of pretty close to 90. It's like we always say, the 5500 right now, and it probably will be for the next few months as well. It's just the best budget option. Once you get a little bit more money to spend, there's definitely much better options, but when you're at like this low of a price point, you just have to go 5500, especially if you're trying to go new. All right, so, oh, another guy. So pretty safe. That was rude,
almost,
and I escaped.
That is rude AF.
You know, he probably just did it for fun. We get full HP, whatever. Next game.
Next game. All right, guys, we are now in Jedi Survivor, another game, a bit older AAA title, but one that will be quite demanding. But we are running 1440p. This is one, honestly, on this setup, I probably would run at 1080p because you'll see our 1% lows are going to be a little bit lower than what we would expect. We are currently running balanced DLSS 3 on medium settings, and we're running no ray tracing right now. So we'll go ahead and drop in here. It's actually holding up better than I thought. I see the 1% lows are down to 22, so I'm just gonna do one of these guys. And we're maintaining a playable experience. It's very console-like. I will say the 1% low is not amazing, but it has settled out a bit. It's getting better. Now this big boy is gonna take that shield. Oh, come here. Oh no, I didn't mean to lock onto you, but that's fine. This is a good game, by the way. If you are a Star Wars fan, if you've not played any of these are very fun games, and they go on sale very cheap, very regularly. Like sometimes you can get both of them, Jedi Survivor and the original one, for like $2 or $3 a piece, and it's a very nice. Are you serious right now? Yeah, again, 1% lows, not too bad. Just for the fun of it, I might go ahead and see what upscaling. There's a little more upscaling we could do. Let's go visuals here. Try some performance, see if that helps at all. We are gonna be a little CPU bound, so I don't necessarily think this will help a ton. Yeah, it's about the same. Again, when you're running a CPU like this, that is the one downside you're gonna have is the upscaling side of things, but Still, I would say more than playable, especially considering the price of this PC. It's looking pretty good, 1440p, but I would go 1080p. Let's try another game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the finals, and I'm playing a class that I don't play, but we are on
The finals.
1440p, DLSS, no frame gen, and we're on the CNN model for quality, dynamic below ray tracing, medium settings. Here we go. Oh, that was. Oh, that was.
Oh,
There
that was.
See, if you take 10 shots, you might hit one.
That's a life lesson right
I
there.
just missed that. Yeah, if you take 10 shots, you might just.
Oh!
Geez, golly!
The physics are physicsing.
See, this is how you stress the PC. Reload. Uh-oh. We gotta. Oh, hello! I can't move! Alright. You know what? That's all we needed. So, 1440p. I mean, this 3070. Good card for it. Still, you can buy it used for a really good price.
One more game. All right, guys, last game we're testing is PRAGMATA. Currently running the following settings: 1440p with DLSS set to balanced, and we're on like a medium-high preset. We do have some stuff turned off, like some additional settings here, bloom and things like that. But we're only using about 60 VRAM at 1440p, and this is running really good.
Look good.
I like testing this game because it's a good example of a game that's not CPU bound by any means. It's a game that runs really well on pretty much any hardware, and we've noticed in these scenarios where like you have a GPU that's a little more powerful than your CPU, it's not nearly as bottlenecked. You saw a bunch of the other games, we weren't getting that 100% GPU usage all the time, but in this game, it really utilizes your GPU without needing much CPU. It's running pretty dang good. These are games that are good and they run well. Love that. Yeah, we're kind of cracked. I need to get back and play this more. I started it and then I just haven't played any more games. I've been bouncing back and forth between this and some Jedi Survivor. Apparently I got like some pay to win skin here, according to McAllister. He doesn't have this one, he's played more than me, so yeah. Just build different. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, this game runs great. There's a lot of games that'll run perfectly fine on this hardware and 1440p with upscaling, good to go. But I would consider 1080p for sure for this PC. I mean, we're talking a PC that's sub $700. In 2026, that's definitely still a 1080p territory PC, but it's cool to see you can do 1440p. Let's run 3D Mark and wrap this video up.
So $675 gets you 1440p gaming in 2026, contrary to what everyone else is telling you. And this is pretty competitive with those new PlayStation, Xbox prices. So maybe think before you go and buy that new console for that new high price. You might just look at a PC like this instead.
And if there is an upgrade you want to do to the system that you want to get a little more performance out of it, getting like a Ryzen 5 5600, maybe like a trade CPU from Newegg, you will spend a decent amount more money and you are breaking up that combo. So the price performance will definitely be a little bit worse, but that 5600 could handle the 3070 a little bit better. So it is one thing to consider if you have a bit more money to spend. If you're trying to copy this build at home, that is a good option to go with.
Now for 3D Mark Time Spy, we got a really good score. We got an overall score of 12,012, with the CPU getting 7,570 and the GPU getting 13,401. That brings us down to a 6 cents per point score, and you guys know that is a very good score. I didn't think we were going to be really seeing those, but I feel like the Toasty Bros, we've just been kind of cooking lately with these price to performance builds.
So if you guys want to see any more budget builds at different price points, as always, let us know down below. And if you want to copy this build yourself, links in the description down below will be affiliate links, and they will help us out. Let us know if there's anything you would do differently about this build. Do you like the configuration overall? Let us know in the comments.
But as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. Do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
So this PC will be for sale at PCBros.tech, along with many other PCs to choose from.
PCBros.tech, it's where we sell the PCs we feature here on the YouTube channel and a bunch of other ones at great prices. You can even get a build consultation, and there's a marketplace. They sell stuff they feature in the ad spots or stuff that we just get sent in that we don't know what to do with. It goes to the marketplace for you guys to buy at great prices. Please go Toasty Bros on checkout. You will save 3% of your next purchase. See you guys later. Bye-bye.